What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dog back again, and we bloody won at last!
Come on!
What the hell? Forest won at last, away from home. We scored a goal away from home. Can't believe I'm saying this. I feel happy. A happy podcast today, people. People, how happy are you in the comments as well, man? I'm so happy we won. I went to the game. If no one saw my vlog, please go and see it after this podcast. People, how excited are you? If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know, and comment below, people. How are you feeling about the fantastic away win? Well, let's get the panel in. I've got I don't know who should I introduce first. I start with Michaela B. It's a twin. It's Michaela B.
It's be positive because I'm always positive. I'm wearing my sunglasses because you showed us your diamond play button and it dazzled my eyes. My eyes are never going to be the same again.
What eye does your eyes, or did the play button does your eyes?
The play button.
People in the comments, show some love to Michaela. Next up, we got the person who met David Beckham and all that. keeps showing off and all that. So jealous and all that. We got Ellie and Mono. How you doing, both?
Very fabulous. Pretty
Typically,
happy.
First away game I've missed since Newcastle. I let someone have my tickets for reasons that I don't want to know about on here, but I don't care. It's so worth it.
Who cares?
So happy.
Maybe it's a sign.
You can never go again.
Last but not least, the legend himself, Glenn. How you feeling, Glenn?
Yeah, still buzzing after yesterday. Wish I was there. Sounded amazing. The vlog that you just referred to was a real frustration release by the sounds of it, based on particularly for the goal, and then afterwards a little bit anxious, wasn't it, before? But yeah, looking forward to this very much. A little positive tonight.
I've been all day. I've been looking forward to it, people, all day, because, like I said, we've not won away in the Premier League, and I think it must be like someone like Ella. I've not saw a Premier League win. It's LA, so
Before you were born.
So yeah, Ellie, was that your first time you saw a Premier League away win?
She wasn't born the last time we won away.
Okay, that was Ellie. So Ellie, that's the first time I've seen a Forest. Sorry, Ellie, I had to. So people in the comments, was it your first time you saw Forest win away? Get involved, people. Before we do talk about the game, I've got two new members to the channel. Thank you, Julian, for being becoming a YouTube member. If you can't email me, please do. And as well, Colin, I think I met you before a Forest game. Shout out to Colin. Email me if you can. As well, this is from Kieran. Evening, welcome back, Michaela. We're going to see the views go up tonight. Why is everyone showing Michaela love? People in the comments, show love as well to Molo, Ellie, and Glenn. Stalker, what the hell?
I pay them.
As well, another one, Kel. Even at all beautiful tears, shares. If you know, hey, Michaela, why is everyone showing love to Michaela? People in the comments, is it crazy? People show some love. People in the comments, put in the comments, show love to Ellie, Molo, and Glenn. Not just Michaela. You can't show Michaela. And me. No, forget me.
He gets enough love.
I get enough love. No, Michaela. I get more hate than love. No,
you don't.
Yeah.
Diamond play button.
But at least there is some love. Thank you, E. Good evening, Mr. Dore, Glenn, Michaela, Eve. I'm well. I'm so happy we won last night. I keep saying we'll survive in the Premier League 100%. And look, he's got his calendar. He's got his calendar.
How amazing is that?
That is amazing. People, if you do want a calendar, please message Malcolm. You can, please do. As well, I think I met Marcus yesterday. Mark, buzzing we're outside my home function again. Nice to meet you in the queue last night. Shout out to Marcus, the Chinese guy as well. Shout out to Marcus for the game. But yeah, well, let's talk about yesterday's game, and we'll start with you, Glenn. What result yesterday? Big result.
Good result. You know, I'm trying to be positive, and I shan't go in with the. Ideally, we needed a second goal early on in the second half. It didn't come. One was enough. anxiety levels, particularly when you're watching and listening at home. I'm not sure what it was like in the stands. It seemed quite loud. We just needed that extra. We just needed that extra buffer, didn't we? We didn't get it, but yeah, delighted about the result, particularly the position that we've come as a result of those 3 points. How close it is down there. We're now joint 13th, aren't we, on goal difference? But yeah, delighted. I think the one thing that I've been talking to, Arsenal and Tottenham mates in my London secondary school over the last couple of weeks, particularly the Palace colleague that confronted me in a corridor today and said, you guys look to be going up when we seem to be going the other way, is that there'll be situations when over the next sort of 7 or 8 games, we may well drop back in there and we may well get in a position. Delighted that particularly for the Chelsea game that we didn't concede again after they'd scored, and that we actually for the first time this season equalised and then didn't held on for that point, which is unlike what happened against Arsenal and Man City and others. I think the way that the team react to that game last night would be significant, and Cooper was playing it down a little bit today, wasn't he, in his press conferences, saying just the significance of moving out of the bottom 3. We won't really know how much of an impact it will have to the team, and I think the team is gelling really well. And actually, of all the teams in the Premier League, they seem to be the one that's the most connected and the most together right at this right time when it's actually getting really tough. And the credit must go to Cooper in that respect. All these new players coming in, they've all got to know each other and got to love each other, really working together, particularly as mates and groups. You saw that last night when Bolly and Endo was having that little issue of we're not sure what to do, what was going on, and they were all working. They were apologising with each other and really getting on. So that's really positive. But the way that they've reacted to conceding the goals, that will happen again this season. They'll lose games again, and they'll go back into the bottom 3 at certain points when other teams have got a better run. It's just how they react to that and how much of a team we can stay together and stay that. I know you were talking about Ellie, weren't you? You were talking about 13th, was that right? I heard last week. No, the more we can stay, is that right?
Before the season,
right?
Glenn, don't pipe up. Glenn,
The more we can stay in this area of the low teens, the better. And if we stay around here, that will be absolutely fantastic, particularly the run that we've got over the next 6 or 7 games compared to other teams around us. And that's the best news from we've put ourselves in a really good position now to push on for this middle third of the season. So delighted. Can't wait for your thoughts and all the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Glenn, don't pipe up Ellie, please, because you actually hammered me last time. Stop giving her ammo to get at me because I've had enough.
I'd just like to point out as well, I'm just going to say, it really was deja vu. I was on the radio and it asked my prediction. I said 13th. I was with a Fulham fan and a Bournemouth fan. They were all like, we're going down. I was like, no, we're finishing 13th. And then the presenter guy was like, have you been drinking? Like, you said this to me last, and you know what happened last time. I'm just saying. Right.
She knows. Ellie knows.
Before I get to Michaela, I've got coming up. And again, people showing love to the girls out here. It's from Julie. How you doing, Julie? How you doing, Ellie, Michaela? Julie, why are you not showing love to myself, Glenn, and Monica? Come on,
Julie's girl gang. We're the girl gang.
Shout out to Julie. Shout out to Julie. Where was Julie?
Well, let's say, Ben, it's her game too.
Her game too?
Exactly.
No, Julie. It's dog game too as well. Show some love to me, man.
That's not very PC.
You're about to shame now with Jay's comment.
Michaela, what was your thoughts about yesterday's game?
I was thrilled. I thought it was tough. We were watching it at home, and you guys, by the way, the away fans were incredible. It was ridiculous. It was so loud on the TV. I think it's one of the best ones that, because usually I'm there, but the sound was ridiculous. It must have helped the players. I would have, as a player, it must have felt amazing to hear that. And their fans were so negative and booing, and it was like when their player went down, that really good player, I can't think of his blinking name, and their manager was like, "Get up!" It was like, he actually did injure himself. It was terrible.
And it was actually.
Yeah, he's such a. Oh, I mustn't swear, but no, I took a lot of positives from that game. I think I like the way that our team is now fighting more. I feel like we've galvanized as a unit, and I don't think we look as scared as we did. I think we've kind of like we know what we need to do now. It's like we can't be scared of these big teams. We've just got to go out and play our game and not do what Sky expects us to do. And like, you know, I feel like it's starting to kind of the cogs and the machine starting to work. So I felt quite positive about the whole thing. I thought some of when we were going forward and things, some of the plays and stuff were brilliant, and like we were unlucky at times. So I actually thought I took a lot of positives from the game, and I actually don't think we should be scared of many people now. Really, I know it's going to be tough. I know we're going to be down the bottom, but I'm feeling like that team is, you know, what is it? How many clean sheets now? We've only conceded 1 goal in 5 or something.
Yeah,
so
like
that's got to be, that's a massive, massive positive. Huh? Yeah, exactly.
But better than the 5 in 1 we were conceding.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, you know, like I think it's starting to gel, and I think the team watching it on TV, because I think when you're at the game, you can't see that togetherness as much. But watching it on the TV and watching their body language and how they're communicating with each other, they all look like they understand each other now as a unit way more than they did a couple of months ago. So I think as fans, and I was listening to Darren Fletcher today, I think he's, you know, hit the nail on the head. I think that team has suddenly come together. I cannot see us going down. I just can't with this team. I think there's too much quality in that team, and a couple of little tweaks, and I think we'll be fine.
No, I'm asked you, Ellie. I said, I didn't mention it. I personally think we win this mini league, and Glenn was spot on about if we lose, we could go bottom 3 again. But after yesterday's performance, I know everyone talks about Southampton are bottom of the league, blah blah blah. But it was just so important to get that win away from home, because, like I said, I think it's the 15th in the league now. So I think now we've got Leicester, Bournemouth, and who else has got
Fulham on the 11th Feb.
These next 3 games are absolutely massive. It'll make or break our season, if I'm honest. What was he, Mono?
I'll say just one game at a time, Ben. Never look that ahead.
No. I'm just saying we're in this mini league. We're in this mini league.
He's right though. I think these games, those guys are down there with us, aren't they? So you've got every time we beat one of them, it's like great, they're bloody gone. So you know you've got to. I think Cooper takes it one game at a time, doesn't he? I believe that's his as a manager. That's how he does it. So. But every game we should be feeling better, more confident, and less scared. And like the beginning of this season, it was just like bloody hell, what have we done? But now, you know, Leicester's a good one. I think we'll beat them. I think mentally we've got them every day of the week and twice a Tuesday.
Out the way first.
Get Blackpool out the way first.
Blackpool, yeah, but
and Wolves. But Ellie, let's talk about the goal. Let's talk about Brennan Johnson. Because he was given so much stick for not passing the ball to Tyler Wadney against Chelsea, but he's been given back to love again. Some fans are fickle sometimes, but
sometimes.
But it's good to see given credit for setting Tyler Wadney. Want it, Ellie?
Yeah, definitely. I think in the interview with Steve Cooper after the game, it was actually brought up about in the Chelsea game about him not passing it. But Cooper said it really well. He said it was actually a different situation. It wasn't the same as the goal we had yesterday. It was a different situation entirely, and it was a good piece of defending before. So it was unfair to have a go at Jono for that. A lot of people did, and the goal scored was pretty much entirely down. Obviously, you know, you scored it, but it was pretty much a Jono goal. Jono created it. Jono won, but was it? He won possession, but then who was it applying pressure in the first place that gave Jono?
Taiwo forced the error, Ellie.
That's it. Taiwo forced the error. And I've never doubted him for a second, but I am like, you know, I've always backed him. I couldn't understand why people were getting on his back. I think people were expecting things to change overnight when we got into the Prem and made 22 new signings. Jono, as we all know, has made a ridiculous amount of progress in his career. Going
2 years ago, 2 years ago, he was in League Two. 2 years ago, he was in League Two. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and he's even played in World Cup now. And people have to understand, a young player like Jono is going to take a little bit of a minute to step up, but he's got it in him, and he's showing us that, and he proves us all the time that he's got it in him. I think he was brilliant.
Did you see the match of the day? You won't have seen it if you're at the game. Because I'm sad when we win, I watch. Obviously I'm not abroad like Michaela, so I couldn't watch the game live. Because she's never been breaking the law. But I also watched Match of the Day in the evening, and they did a little piece on Jono at the end. And I just hope all his critics were watching it, because like Ellie's hit the nail on the head. A, he's young, and B, the thing, and you'll know this more than anyone, Glenn. Like when you think about any kind of team, whether it be a schoolboy team or international team, if you've got a guy on the pitch who's that quick, it makes the defence always have one eye behind them, doesn't it? Looking at the back door. Without Jono,
I had Jed Spence in my team doing that once, mate. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Scares the shit out of him.
He played a few more teams than times for your team than Matt Thorne ever played for mine, I suppose. But no, I've lost my thread now. But no, that pace thing's so important, and Jono makes them look behind him. But I was just going to say, talking about, obviously last night, fantastic to win, and we know the second half performance was about digging deep. But there's one guy who is a total let, and he's such a nice guy, and everyone doesn't realise how acute his football brain is on his stuff. Who said before this season it's all about home form? Stick with Jono because he's going to have patches where you're struggling. Forest going to have patches where they're struggling. The man Kevin Campbell has virtually predicted the season so far exactly as it's gone for Forest, hasn't he? Okay. I've always loved him anyway, but
no, don't give him a big Molo. Don't give him a big head. Kevin, you watching this? He's lying.
You've got to say, you've got to give credit where it's due. He absolutely called it and said we're going to have to stick with them, which we have as well. But there's going to be tough times. Yeah. You're going to lose games. You're going to lose a lot of games. He kind of was saying, you're going to probably lose more than you win, and it will take time to bed in the players. He said, and he thought we'd probably stay up, but he did say, didn't he? It's all about your home form and get what you can away, and so it's proving. And I loved his message on the review. Fair play.
Yeah, legend. Thank you for coming. As well, people, like I said, I don't know if no one noticed after the game. I'm letting people like Ellie and Molo did a review on how the game was. So if anyone wants to do like a little video, 2-minute video on how you felt the game was, please do. I'll put it on my channel and just see how you feel about the game. So if you do, just message me on Twitter or Instagram. Another player, and again, I think he's getting this last 3 games. I mentioned Tarawani. Everyone criticised him when he played left wing against Man U, and I thought, oh, why is he playing left wing? Blah, blah, blah. The game against Chelsea, best player. The game against yesterday, in Pim left side, it's getting better. And this is to you, Glenn. So many Forest fans, like I said, and I put my hands up. I thought, what's he doing? But Cooper has proved all of his wrong again there. I know it's Southampton, but we're getting the best out of him, aren't we?
We are. I'm not sure if it was you or Des or some of the others were talking to me about the work that they were doing with Taiwo, particularly. It might have been you or Molo, actually, working off a defender and spinning off that player and actually giving himself time to turn and run onto the ball is revolutionising the way he's playing. Moving that on that left-hand side gives him so much more space, spreads that back 4 and gives him that little pocket on that left-hand side just in front of Loddy and just to the left of Yates, just to operate in that space, and gives him so much more time. You're talking about Koulibaly. He absolutely rinsed him on Sunday, didn't he? Tore him a new one to the point where he was
talking about that on Sky today because Chelsea are on. I was listening.
The way he played against him was absolutely incredible. Tried it a little bit, not so successful at Man United the game before, but again gets in that situations is I was going to say aggression, but that's not what I mean. That sort of attitude, that okay, I'm going to say aggression. The aggression in that last third to turn that player and really run at him. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to defend against him. They were fouling him. He was all over the shop, wasn't he? Absolutely fantastic. It's turning into the sort of player that we hoped he would be. Now you've obviously listened to the same podcast earlier on, Michaela, that I had, getting that Keenan Davis-ness in him that we all hoped he would bring straight away. And he's just providing more and more for the team and himself, getting himself on the score sheet again. Can't ask any more than that, can we? More and more and more, please. Bring it on.
Mm-hmm. Another player, like I said, I personally thought I love Remo Furler. I love him. But yesterday, I didn't think he was. I don't want to be overcritical because we won the game. But it's not the player that he gave the ball too much away yesterday. Watch people in the comments as well. What do you think about Remo Furler? Do you think poor game yesterday? Go on, Michaela. You're next in the way.
I think he's absolute class. I think he's brilliant. I think he's knackered. I think he just needed I think he just looked. I think personally he does that hard, crappy job in midfield. You never get plaudits for that. Like Jack Colback used to get, like people like, oh, what does he do? He always passes it. That's a dirty, nasty job. In the Premier League, it's even. I think he's absolute class. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. I think yesterday I think he made a few errors, and obviously when you make errors in the Premier League, it's like it's your errors like a 10 in a Championship game, and in a Premiership game it's 100. So I think personally, I think he just needed. I think he was a bit tired. He looked kind of tired. I think he just needed a break, and I think it was the right thing to take him off personally, or not take him off, whatever. I think it's just. I think that was it. I don't think he's a bad player. I think the crap on Twitter was ridiculous about him. Like, you suddenly don't become rubbish overnight. But he didn't have his best game yesterday. He definitely wasn't one of the highlights of his career, I don't think, yesterday. But I don't think he was like horrible. No. I think he's a class player. I really like. I think he's brilliant. In the World Cup, he was phenomenal.
I don't care what he does for Switzerland, but I'd back Michaela for most of it. I really like what he does, and particularly when you're at the game. Obviously, I wasn't last night. You particularly see what he does off the ball. But I felt last night, weren't his night on the ball, that it says a lot that Cooper didn't substitute him because he knows the miles he runs to make sure we don't concede as well. Because let's be honest, that second, if we'd have had the two halves the other way around, it naturally skews you into saying, like we did with Chelsea, we played all right in the end. The second half was a horrible watch, but the boys properly dug in. Remind me again, how many shots on target did Southampton have in the second half? Like in the whole game?
None.
Exactly. They didn't even look like scoring, did they?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of saying badly. Yeah, I think he does that dirty, crappy job, and I think those players never get the plaudits that they should get, do they? They never get the doing that nasty, horrible job where you have to back people up and you have to run. I think he ran the most, didn't he, in the team, or one of the most?
He always does.
And I think he's
at least, isn't it?
And I like his feistiness. I love his aggression. I love that. I love when he gets. I think that's like I don't know what happened at the end of Cooper. I think Hendo came over and
got whacked in the head by Henderson.
Yeah. I think he was still in game mode. I think he was still like, what? Like, I don't, because everyone was like, oh, he hates Cooper. It's like, no, he was in game mode. Like, it was, but I think he's absolute class. I love him. I'm a big fan of him, and I think he's a great asset to our team. So yeah, I think the hate was silly. I think he made a few mistimed passes. That's it. But I think he does a great
possession, didn't he?
Yeah,
if you know football, that's a horrible role. No one's.
I think what annoyed me, I think what annoyed people while I watched the game, and it was annoying because he was doing petty fouls. But when he got the yellow card, I think it's like, it's been coming, and we know it is what it is. Pretty trying to break play what Southampton are doing, but I was happy that Cooper left him on because, as you said, Michaela, he knows his job. He knows what to do.
He's class. He's class. And sometimes you have to take a yellow, don't you? You have to. You have to do those yellows. You have to take one to do. I don't think his one was particularly. That was the best one or whatever. But sometimes you just have to do that dirty, horrible job. I think he's I really like him. I really like Mangala too. I think, some of these players kind of, I don't think he does, but they go under the radar and you don't realise quite how hard they work for your team and the graft they put in. Because, all the spotlight goes on the Yatesies and things because they make the runs forward and stuff. But Foyle, I think, is brilliant.
I think Mangala struggled massily yesterday, didn't he?
Mangala?
Yeah, he had a couple of in the second half, particularly before he went off. He had some very catchy sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not show pony. That's not what I mean, but very flamboyant, very nice turns and things that looked very good and got the yards of space and everything. But when we were digging in second half, he dug in, but he was clearly struggling, wasn't he? It's not his game at the end of the day. And Colback was absolutely immense.
We'll talk about Colback later. We'll talk about Colback later. Because there's people.
Colback fan club.
Oh, here we go. That's why I didn't want to mention Colback because Michaela's here. But there's the 69 people. If you can do a massive favor for me, hit the like button, please. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Right. Let's talk about the defense. I'm gonna ask you, Ellie. We've had the same back four for the last 3 games, and me personally, I think that is our first choice. Me personally, people in comments, do you agree, disagree what I'm saying? That is our first choice, and I think they're getting used to each other now. And Ellie, was you happy with the defensive performances today?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we did get a clean sheet. Admittedly, Southampton did not bring all that much, respectfully. But I think we have to mention Renan Lodi's performance yesterday. In particular, he had a very good game yesterday. And it was very nice to see because he's struggled a little bit when he's been on the pitch, defensively especially. We all know on the ball he can be quite creative, but he did have a good game yesterday. What was that fantastic block in the second half? That was brilliant. He had a good few moments. I was like, wow. That was good. He really did a good job. He's done I think, and as you say, we've changed our back four a lot throughout the season. And when we look at Worrell and Bolly, individually as players and the performances they've had, would we say they're necessarily our most talented? No, that sounds harsh.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. We know what you mean.
But they do the job. They've done a good job. They're the ones getting these clean sheets. They're the ones getting these performances. So whilst they might not look I don't know how to put it, but they're doing it. They're doing a job better than was being done before, and they deserve to start. They haven't let us down. They have their moments, admittedly, but look at the results we've been getting and the number of clean sheets we've been getting in comparison to the sheer number of goals we were conceding before. So I would also say, controversially, I do like Aurier. I have nothing against him. But I do really like Williams. I do. I know that's controversial. I do.
Let me do a poll, people. I'm going to do.
Serge has been phenomenal. Sorry, I love Nico, but I love Serge.
I think it would be unfair to not start him anymore, given as in like everything they've done with the results we've been getting. But I did like when Nico came on. I think they're as good as each other. They have different things to offer. I think Serge is definitely a lot stronger physically and defensively, scares me a lot less when Serge is on the pitch. But then I do like the Nico and Jono link up. So it depends. I think people will know better than me, depending on the game. But at the moment, I don't have much bad to say with our back four. I'm happy with how they've been doing. I think maybe a little bit tidier, but that's all right. We've been getting the clean sheets at the end of the day, and they've been doing a good job.
100%. I put a poll, people. Who would you prefer right back? This is your fault, Ellie. Aurier or Williams? So far, 93% says Williams.
Nice problem to have, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
a nice
very
problem
good.
to have.
I think the point you're making, Ellie, you're absolutely spot on, particularly since that back four came in the Tottenham game to rest other players that have played before, and they've now stuck with them, with the exception of that Man United game where Hendo didn't play, and that was the one game where we did leak some goals, probably not necessarily. So that 5 games, one concede is with the exception of that when Hendo's been in goal, of course. But stay as you are. Obviously, the great thing is about last night is that we kept that first 11 or starting 11 for the first time this season. We were talking, weren't we, about that with the Chelsea review, Dor? You know, the necessity of having that same probably starting 11 and the benefit of keeping that team, keeping their shirt, keeping the confidence. You've talked a lot tonight, Michaela, about the belief and increasing the belief in the team, and that's something that will only come from keeping your place. And then Cooper doesn't call them subs; he calls them finishers, doesn't he? So Nico will become one of the finishers along with Surridge if he stays around. Scarpa, I won't say anything about more about him. No doubt we'll talk later.
We'll talk about later. That's later.
And others that will become 4 and 5 during the course of the final half hour that will make the difference. So. Yeah, that back four have made a real impact, and the longer they stay there, stay together and work together. That's great.
Nico's the future, isn't he? And Aurier's been brilliant, but he's not going to be playing for the next. I mean, I can't remember how old he is, but he's not here for the next 5 years.
28.
Is he?
He's 28.
Yeah, he looks 40.
Is he?
He's 28.
He's 28 years old. So Aurier.
He's had a hard life.
Oh,
I mean, it's not been said as well. How good was that tactical substitution? Because we were talking at the time with about 15 minutes to go about who'd been our best player. And we were saying Loddy. We felt Loddy had been our best player. And then tactically, because he just knew what their manager's like, he sort of brought Loddy off for the aerial bombardment and sent on Toffolo. And I've noticed it a bit before. How good is Aurier in the air for a right back?
Yeah.
He's so good, isn't he? That back post header he did. Like, not being disrespectful. When Machi Cash was playing for us before, obviously he's a Premier League player now, that was his big weakness, wasn't it? Those back post headers where he'd get beat at the back post. So he has got a bit of it. I didn't realise he was only 28. Oh, blimey, that's going to be a good battle for the shirt next
year. He looks older, but he's young.
Yeah. Right, I'm just going to look for the comments as well, people. This is one from Dawn. How you doing, Dawn? Hi, everyone. Fist pumps to everyone, all the men. You Reds. Yes, Dawn. Love you better than Julie. Much better than Julie. Shout out to Dawn as well. Carl, Lolly's loving having Scarpa here. Right. Let me talk about Scarpa, right? Because
and let everyone.
Wait. Let me go first. Right?
Who took selfie with Scarpa? Everyone.
Wait. That's what I want to know. People in the comments, have you had a selfie with Scarpa? Because I've not had one yet.
Me?
Like, I've had one yet.
I've had two.
I've got to give Scarpa a message. He needs to get down to the Flow skate park on a more regular basis. And then when the weather comes back, Lady Bay skate park.
I think he's been told he can't skate, right?
No.
Like the insurance or something.
My lad's going to teach him how to kickflip, whatever that means.
Right. Before we do talk about Scarpa, I'm just going through the comments because, like I said, there's shout to Justin, who is a member. Serge has been a great leader too. He has been a fantastic leader. He has as well. This is from Jordan. Area is based on form, but love Nico. Think he has hard done by not make 11. Nah, you got
next man up.
Next man up. Yeah. That's what it is, and the way he's been playing,
you can't drop him. He's been phenomenal. Yeah. You can't. You literally. That would be bloody awful to drop Aurier. I'm sorry. He's been phenomenal, 100%. Hasn't he? He's been. Yeah. You just can't. And like Nico will get his chance.
He's going to pick up injuries, isn't he? As well. He's had a few knocks away.
Right. So let's talk about Scarpa now because everyone got so jolly, and it's good to make him his debut. But it's not Scarpa FC. It's Nottingham Forest FC. I'm just like, no. I'm just saying, like,
has he got a diamond play button now?
Yeah. Scarpa, have you got one? Not yet. No, but no. I mean, no. Right, no. I'm not trying to disrespect him.
You're so jealous, salty.
No. I'm not trying to disrespect Scarpa at all. I'm not trying to. No. I'm just saying that he come on, and he did 2 fantastic passes for it. The ball to Loddy.
He did about 4. He did about 4. They were
what for Nico Williams?
Got a highlights package on today on YouTube already, just from last night. And it includes him getting nutmegged. So I don't know why they put that on there. But it's got about 5 or 6 passes. It's. I mean, really, it was that one pass, wasn't it? Where people are like,
Well, I think I'm not trying. Like I said, I'm trying to put in perspective on Scarpa. Like I said, it's something we've missed.
He's a bit of magic, isn't he?
Yeah, he's magic. And when he come on, and like I said, the touches, the pass he did to Loddy, running down the wing, the Williams pass, and his like I was there, his movement in that number 10 role that we've been desperate for a long, long time. No disrespect to Lingard, but Scarpa gives White once a word. Yeah, but Scarpa, like I don't want to blame.
No, it's famous.
No, the reason I'm saying it because we got on the hype train on your mate Michaela Zhao. Got on the hype train.
Can I say something? He's like Premier League Zhao.
Don't say that.
Zhao.
No.
No, I just want to say before the season, I said when we're talking about transfers, I was like, you know what we could do with randomly Zhao Carvalho. Carvalho was never built for Championship. He was always built as Magic Man. And what Scarpa
I'm not trying to say.
I think he's better. I think he's going to be. I love Zhao. I want him to do very well in life.
Play against Alfreton.
What
don't go down there.
Right. And this is Kieran. Right. Stop being negative about Scarpa. Kieran, I'm not trying to be negative about Scarpa.
Kieran, I think he is. I think
no.
I know what you're really trying to say. Tempered expectation. He's one player in a team.
And also, it's not fair to him, is it? The way look what we did to Carvalho, we ruined it.
That's my point. That's my point. Yeah. Because I see fans. Yes, Scarpa is Brazilian. If he was English, well, people would be talking about it. Not really. But I'm saying,
English people aren't that cool, sadly.
That's what I'm trying to say. He come on and he did what he did. He did what he did. Like the passes he did. Don't get too gassed up. Yeah.
He didn't touch the ball for 10 minutes, did he?
No.
Oh, who cares?
No. I'm just saying, Ellie, I apologize. I don't want the Jack Carvalho effect again.
I don't think, but can I be honest? I think, as someone that was who knew him quite well, I think this guy seems. I think his brain and his intelligence. He's more free.
Yes.
I feel like he's kind of born for this. He's a bit older. There's a little bit more. He's got a family. He's played in Brazil. He was a Brazilian player of the bloody year. This guy.
Hang on, whoa. Rewind. Did you say he's got a family?
He's got a kid.
You mean, has he?
Yes, he's got a little boy.
I'm sorry.
He's got a wife. He's got a wife. She's lovely.
Wait. Let's get back to it. I'm just saying, right. I
think his intelligence. No, but I think his intelligence. Look, he just gets a Rubik's cube and does this.
No, right.
I think you need intelligence. These foreign players that speak good English, that understand, like his intelligence, I think will translate onto the pitch. And I do think, and I think that will be. But I know what you're saying. Let's not like hype him up so much that we think we've got bloody, Ronaldinho starting for us every week. But it is nice. It's nice to be excited about a player.
That's what I'm trying to say. But I've seen him twice, and he was fantastic against Valencia for 15 minutes. Fantastic.
He was phenomenal against Valencia.
He was fantastic. Yeah, he come on yesterday, and you can, like I said, when you're there live, you can tell he likes to find that space where no one's around him. He likes because we know he's going to be a marked man when people get used to him, but because no one knows him, it's good to see. And I just don't want to get I'm excited. We've got that kind of player in our team, but I want to see the real deal from him when he gets more game time. If people in the comments, do you understand what I'm trying to say? If you don't, just put F off door. Yeah?
what I'm getting from this story is he's played for 15 minutes, 20 minutes in a Premier League game. Cooper was saying at the end of the with Colin just how much that meant to him that he played. Yes. Remember, we haven't lost with our new sponsor, and he's got a match shirt that he's going to take as a first game. It's not a red one, unfortunately. Obviously. But he's got a situation now where he's going to play a little bit more. He hasn't had an assist yet. He hasn't scored yet. He hasn't taken a free kick yet. He hasn't taken a corner yet.
Yes.
Let's temper expectation, and let's just have that little bit of hope that he will reach what we hope he will be. And if he gets halfway of what we're hoping he's going to be a phenomenal player that's going to benefit that midfield group that no doubt we're talking about later on. So let's temper expectation, but nevertheless, let's really support him when he does come on.
Yes,
and let's have more and more of you going, what a ball, right?
Yes,
that's what we want, isn't it? We want to see
and that's like the
forward
Taiwo thing, isn't it? It's like the Awoniyi thing. When we got him, we didn't have the same kind of hype, but we're now getting the guy that we signed up for, the guy that we had on the package kind of thing. So with all these players, you've got to give them a little bit of time to settle and a little bit of time to do what they're good at. I think he's going to be good though. I could just feel it in my water. I think he's going to be a good one. But I know what you're saying, Ben. Calm down. But it is nice to have someone on the pitch that you feel has got a bit of magic on their toes, because I think we lost a little bit of there's a little bit of something special. I think all the players, I think it'll be nice for them too. Someone who's got a little bit of magic.
Yes. Like I said,
talking to some Brazilian fans about him that actually support Palmeiras, whatever they call for it, when we were there. Well, we weren't in Brazil, but over there, the Brazilian fans, they were saying that he can play anywhere across midfield. And going back to what Michaela was saying earlier, and I think you're right, the mentality thing is there, isn't it? He's got a confidence in the right way because he's a bit more mature. But it's at home, on any given day, I can kind of see him playing the role that Mangala's been playing. Because I love Mangala. He's a talented lad, but he can't tackle his way out of a paper bag, can he? He's a bit like Paul Scholes. He offers something different in that position. That's why you've got the other two doing all this sort of, getting the foot in. But I genuinely feel like, I want to enjoy him. And of course, there's going to be expectation. But I think he could probably handle that. And he'll do an interview after a bad game and say, well, I'm human. And if he does a few good things, he'll say, yeah, I enjoy that. I feel like I'm on top of my game. He won't be like, I'm the new Messi or whatever, will he? He's just got something about him.
He seems very humble. He seems humble, doesn't he? With all this crap that's been going around.
As well. He's too cool for school, isn't he, as well? He's just such a cool person.
He didn't literally play for Brazil, so I don't think...
He hasn't played for Brazil yet. Played in Brazil.
Oh, true, yeah.
Loddy's played.
His ambition is to play for Brazil, though, isn't it? For the next World Cup. That's what he said.
What was it? Brazilian fans said that they were fuming that he wasn't chosen for Brazil. Sorry.
All the Brazilian fans wanted him in the squad, and they were surprised. And they're like, it's not like he's a young kid. So with Loddy, they said he might get a chance again in the future when he's been forgiven, is what they said. Whereas because of what happened in the Copa America final or something. But whereas with him, they're like he's of an age now where he should be playing now, and they rate him higher than some of the players that are in the squad. Which I know that's high praise, and he hasn't done it in Europe, but they're very knowledgeable guys, these Brazilian fans. They spoke about all the English-based Brazilians and knew a lot about them. So I've got high hopes. I just hope he doesn't.
I want him to listen. Every player that plays for Forest, I want them to do fantastic. The Scarpa, like I said, I've seen him live. I've seen him twice now. And the two games he's been the last 15 minutes. He's been great. Like the Valencia game, he was fantastic against Valencia. Like the set pieces. The free kick that he did, almost scored. I thought, wow, what a player. But we're in the Premier League. Friendly difference to the Premier League. We're playing against a big and better teams. And this is what I'm trying to say. So we've got Leicester. Forget Blackpool and who else? We've got Wolves in the cup. We've got Leicester in the cup. And that's what I'm trying to say. I want him to do well. I think he will do well. But I don't want to be like, we've got a fantastic player. Then if he plays a shit game, sorry for my language, a rubbish game against Leicester, his Forest fans be like, "Oh, we've got a useless player."
That's why I wish we'd stop. I just hate it. Like someone has a bad game, you're suddenly not a crap player.
Like,
and he will. Those Mavericks have bad games.
Yeah, but like I'm listening to play another player that was spot on. Like Michaela know how I felt about Jack Cole back. Like I didn't when he come to Forest, I thought, oh, this guy he keeps filing everyone, 50 yellow cards, bloody hell. And then last season, one of the best players of the season, he come on yesterday. For me personally, and everyone's talking about O'Brien. Why O'Brien wasn't in the lineup? Blah blah blah. But Jack Corbett yesterday for me, He come on yesterday, Michaela, and I thought, okay, that's the type of player that we needed to like O'Brien. He's more going forward, but I said to Cooper, I seen Cooper's interview about we needed that kind of experience of an older head in that midfield. So what was your opinion on Colback, Michaela, yesterday?
I thought he came on and did what he always does. He's consummate professional, controlled the midfield. I can hear all the naysayers in my back of my head. He's going to get a card. I thought he was brilliant. He came on. He did exactly the job he needed to do. He slowed it down. He was up people's behinds, and he did that job that we know he can do. He's such a great person to have in our squad for those kind of games where you have to tough it out at the end. And I know Cooper knows I can trust him. I'm going to chuck him on because O'Brien started so brilliantly for us, didn't he? I thought he was sensational, and then he had a little bit of a dip. But I think with Jack, he's Mr. Consistent, isn't he? So I think get him on. I thought he was brilliant. You know, just does what he always does. What he says he's going to do. He's the ginger ninja. Get him on. I'm so glad he's still here and he can finish this season, you know, in the Premier League and come and do his bit part. But you know, he was excellent. He's always excellent.
People, so come on.
I'll say tactically, I know it was a scruffy game, but also Southampton were very right-sided, weren't they? With that, It sounded like they had 4 players: Walker, Peters, Ward, Prowse. Yes, but they were,
it was wasted.
Yeah. And the forward players kept joining them, didn't they? So very right-sided. I thought Loddy was doing a brilliant job. And it was only when I thought about it, reflecting on the game, actually, Cooper spotted it. And Mangala's race was probably run. It wasn't his kind of game. And he sent on Colback to make sure it wasn't a 2-on-1 all the time. And between him and Loddy, they closed down that right. I mean, you look how many times the ball went out to that right side and it ended up either we won it went out of play, or they had to turn back inside and go backwards. And once they got they had so much pointless possession. It was like watching us under Houston, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was horrible.
People are saying it's only Southampton. It's only they've got players in that squad who would have walked into our team at the start of this season.
Oh my God!
Laku. I'll name 2 players: Ward-Prowse and Adams.
Ward-Prowse has got he's the best free kick taker that they've ever had in the Premier League, isn't he? Like if they get the ball, if they lose him, they are in deep doo-doo. Like that guy is, you know, I didn't think he did particularly well.
When I heard the Southampton lineup, I thought to myself, who's this guy? And like I said, there's only Adams, Ward-Prowse.
Adams, yeah.
Adams, that's the only 2 players, and that's why
Walker Peters is a good player.
Walker Peters as well. I forgot about there's 3 players that I mentioned.
They've got two.
They brought on Adam Armstrong as well,
haven't they? They've got a very young team.
Yeah,
but they brought Adam Armstrong off the bench, didn't they? And
yeah.
We were allegedly interested in him, or people saying he'd be a good signing for us. They're struggling in their bottom, so I get the disrespect in one sense. But as KC said, there are no easy games in the Premier League, and every point away from home is really hard to get. And we picked up 3 last night, so
massive point.
You're never going to play a team at the Park away from home unless you're Man City. Although I think they've struggled over the line tonight.
I think the harder games are against the crappier teams. I've always thought Forest, we always raise our games for the bigger teams.
Oh, no crappier teams, Michaela. In this league.
you know the ones at the bottom, I think they're going to fight that bit harder. So I think we're playing our better football against the elites of the Premier League. So I think you go into that game and you think, well, we're probably going to lose. I mean, Man U, we were awful, I thought, but I think we got it wrong for that. But no, Southampton, they aren't they're last night I didn't think they played well at all, but they're not awful.
Michaela, the Southampton fans next to me, I was right next to him. Last 20 minutes were like, I think who was it? Who come on? It was Armstrong. Who come on?
They're 2 Armstrongs, aren't they?
Yeah. When he come, this is how embarrassing that this is Saturday is. When he come on, he was booing him.
God, that's so awful, isn't it?
Booing him. I'm like, we thought it was booing. We thought it was booing him coming off, but it was booing him play coming on. We were like, What?
But I actually hate
though, don't they, as a team?
Yeah, that manager is horrible. He's a horrible. They kept doing big close-ups on the TV. Oh, he's horrible. He's the most horrible, obnoxious, nasty. Yeah, and with that zip like
He's
this, like what
all
is
the time.
problem? He's such a horrible. Oh, I hate him. I just so disrespectful. He deserves everything he gets. I don't like him at all. But anyway,
it seems like Michaela won't be giving him a birthday card this year, so that says it all.
No.
Right,
he's gonna get sacked. He's gonna get sacked soon anyway. So I'm not worried
Chris
about
Cohen does as well. We like Chris Cohen.
I love Cohen.
Did you see on the TV? They showed a guy, and they said, "Oh, there's Chris Cohen." It wasn't Chris Cohen at all. It was some really beardy old bloke. But then they showed Chris Cohen. That kind of broke my heart a little bit. But no. I don't think Chris's heart was in it. I can tell. Well, obviously, I'm in Spain. I'm in Barcelona.
Right, people. There's nobody got 9 minutes to go. People in the comments and get involved. There's 91 people in. Who was your man of the match yesterday? And what was your rating for your Stifler team? There's one people. I did a vlog as well, like Glenn has mentioned. Please watch it after the game. It was I do rate St Mary's. It's a great stadium. And the reason why I liked it because they sell chicken. Why can't Forest do that? Why can't Forest do that? A nice chicken place. So Forest, if you're listening to me, I know that someone will be watching. Just get a chicken place outside the ground. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Get Slim Chickens to sponsor you or something.
Yeah, Slim Chickens. If you can sponsor me, please do. I'll come to you. Right, people. Right, let's get involved, people. Watch people's man of the matches. Get in the comments right now. Let me start with you. Right, before we do them, we got the. Let's see if I'm well done, you guys. Out of the 3, still think you'll survive. Let's start. I'm coming for you lot. I am coming for you lot. I know you lot when
that's
you beat
easy 3 points.
When you beat us 4-0, whatever it was. I took the massive L. Next week it's revenge. I'll take the revenge. Is what it is. Right. Let's start with you, Glenn. Who was your man of match and team rating?
Ooh, tight one. If Taiwo would have stayed on, I know he's got a little fatigue, hasn't he, after the little groin knock that he's got. Had he stayed on and gone all the way through the game, I'd have said him for forcing the error that turns the ball around that then he finishes. I think over the face of the 90 minutes and the bits that I've seen, I don't think you can look beyond Brennan, actually, for me, for last night. I think he's speeding the attack, the way he was decision making, that like you were saying, Ellie, the situation that he faced on Sunday against Chelsea, the only similarity is that he was on the right of Taiwo, who was both running towards the goal. The other players around them were very different. It was a different situation. There wasn't a pass on. If there was a pass on, then it would have been a situation where it would have been a tap in, but that ball wouldn't have gone through. I think last night's delivery of that ball across, great pace. I think he pulled over to the right just enough to bring that defender over away from Taiwo and leave a 1v1 with the keeper. Yeah, great performance. Good stuff.
What's your rating, Glenn, out of 10?
Out of 10 for the team?
Yeah.
I think you've got to go solid 9, haven't you? For the performance, the belief, the way that the team have the point, the one that I've dropped from the 10 would be the fact that they've not taken the chances. Saying that I've given him a man of the player of the match. I think that chance that he missed in the first sort of 30 minutes was harder than it appeared. The way he took the ball, it was actually off balance, leaning backwards. It was only ever going to go forward. He just needed to take that extra touch and move forward, which he didn't have before he struck the ball. I think he had to hit it first time, and the fact that it hit the woodwork was amazing. But a good solid 9 right through the team defensively, through midfield. Obviously, we've talked about there might be some limitations there, but up front, really threatening going forward, and fantastic performance. Still buzzing.
I think who is buzzing? Ellie, who's your man of the match? I know what Ellie's going to say. I think she's going to know. Do I know what you're going to say, Ellie?
Nico Williams.
No. I think I have to agree with a lot of what Glenn said. I think Taiwo did have a good game and forcing that error. He played well. I'm harsh on Taiwo because he scares me a bit whenever he makes a run because I don't know what he's doing with his feet. I don't think he knows what he's doing with his feet. But then neither did the defenders. So sometimes it works out quite well. But I think Jono had a fantastic game.
I knew you were going to say that. That was a daft question. That was daft. I knew you were going to say Jono.
Oh, you knew, did you? Of course you did.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Jono. I knew you were going to say Jono.
Renan Loddy as well, I think, had a really good game. I think as fantastic as Jono was for the game that was played in terms of like how much defending we have to, especially in the second half, and how much Loddy was in the game. I feel like I'm gonna have to give it to Loddy. As fantastic as Jono was, I'm gonna give it to Loddy. But in terms of team performance, it was a very scrappy game. I don't think it's, even though we did take a win away from home, it's not been our best footballing performance. But in terms of the team we were playing and the nature of the game that was being played, there wasn't going to be that much football. It was going to be very scrappy. And I'd say tactically, Cooper was the substitutions he made, fantastic. The way we played, we got the job done. So I'm going to give us a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'll take that. Marlo?
I mostly agree with Ellie. It's because it was such a game in two halves, and I agree with what Glenn said as well. And we take for granted, don't we, Jono's pace now he gets us up the pitch. So it's a tricky one for me between 3, and you could even throw in 4. Thought Jono was our best player going forward overall. I agree about Loddy, but then in those last 10 minutes when back to the wall, he wasn't there to sort of finish the job off. Not his fault. I think it was a sensible substitution. So I'm probably going to go Bolly, which they're words I never thought I'd say after that spectacular debut he made, where as debuts go, that probably wasn't one he'll ever want to remember. But I thought, both centre halves, it's always harsh to pick one or the other, but I'd say probably for 90 minutes, I'm going to go Bolly, I think.
Kieran, he's mentioned Bolly. Kieran was moaning about no one mentioned Willie Bolly, but we have mentioned Bolly, Kieran.
Yeah, no, it's hard because everybody put in a shift, didn't they? And everybody had their moments doing their own job, apart from one or two struggled on the ball a little bit. But, defended so well, I've given it a defender. But equally, Glenn's right. The game changer and the game winner was effectively Jono and Taiwo working together. So,
what's your rating?
7 out of 10 for the team.
Okay. Last but not least, Michaela.
Colback.
Would have played 90 minutes like that. Couldn't argue. To be fair.
I thought Brennan had a really good game. I thought he was. I love Brennan when he's kind of aggressive, and I feel like when he's up against it, I feel like we get the best out of him. I like him when he's feisty. I love seeing him.
I do. You know what? I don't like it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like it. It reminds me of his dad. I like it. I like an aggressive.
David and Alison, I don't like it. Tell Brendan to stop. Trying to fight someone. Stop doing it.
No, I like it.
I don't like it. I don't.
No.
Sorry,
I like it.
If I was watching this,
I don't like
Alison,
it. But
I don't like it.
Brennan plays better. I think Brennan plays better when he's when he's got
the ball. Michaela, when he's got the ball, I love it when he's aggressive. But when he's trying to fight people and
he's a man now, Ben.
No,
he's a man.
He's a man.
He's a man.
When he's trying to he's squared up.
He's a bit like Prince William. He's going to push people out of the way.
Brennan.
No. I thought he had a really good game. I thought, obviously, in 1 year, I thought he's just improving every game. I mean, he was, and I loved his reaction when he got the Man of the Match award at Chelsea, the bench cam. That broke my heart. Like him, that's like, oh my God. I'm going to give it to Joe Worrell because I think he's an unsung hero, and I think he's come in and he's captaining that team. No one wants him more than that bloke, and I think. Bolly is who knew this guy existed and how well he can play. But I think Joe did a really good job last night. I think he shepherded his crew through a tough storm, and I'm going to give it to him because I'm a defenders union kind of person. So I'm going to give it to Joe Worrell just to be different.
But
Brennan, I'd give us a 7.5 out of 10. I agree with Ellie. I think it was I think it was kind of a niggly, scrappy performance, like particularly the second half. But I think Glenn's very generous with the 9. I think Chelsea like 9, but I think
still not changing it.
No, I know you're not Glenn. Cool, Glenn's got feisty. But I think about 7.5. I think they would have left feeling brilliant. But I want us to do better. I expect us to do better. So I'm going to say 7.5.
Have you heard what happened after the game, Michaela, with the players?
No.
I shouldn't laugh because obviously, because they flew.
Yes.
So I've heard from a very reliable source that they got to the airport and because they were delayed or whatever happened getting there, they missed their spot taking off. And I think it must have been Southampton Airport, which I don't think is 24-hour or whatever reason. They had to get off the plane and get a coach back. So they got back at like 2 or 3 in the morning, just like the supporters.
We went past the coach. We drove past the coach. Yes, we drove past the coach.
Flying back. Now, I laugh about it because obviously they all get paid way more than we ever will. But actually, in another way, I'm just glad we haven't got a game against the Premier League side on Saturday that makes or breaks our season.
Happy. Yeah, because that's a horrible.
Every bit of rest counts, doesn't it? But I did make me chuckle that, having done all that in front of, I don't know what the crowd was, to be fair, but in front of 3,000 Forest fans going nuts.
Man, it was crazy. It was a crazy atmosphere. Like I said,
it sounded ridiculous. It sounded ridiculous.
Southampton fans, like I said, no disrespect to Southampton, like I said, doing the bottom of the league.
It was half empty, Ben. It was half empty, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't half empty. The other side it was. Well, it was below, but it wasn't half empty. But before
on social media today, on one of those, I can't know what it's called now, but like a general football one, loads of comments. I kind of had a little look today saying, typical because I wasn't there, but best away fans I've seen at our place for a long time. Best fans at St Mary's for a long time. Fair play to you lot. Great support, great effort. Best fans at St Mary's for an age from a Saints fan. It all comments on social media.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Well done, Southampton. Thank you for that.
So Molo didn't go, did you? And then we won. So is he banned now from all the games?
Yeah. I'll
ticket.
I'll phone Forest. I'll tell him.
I had a ticket though.
It's typical though, isn't it? I had a ticket, but I had to work because we've got too much sickness. So
right, but before we do go, I'm gonna do my. I'll say my man match was. It's quite a few. I'll say Tyrell Rodney. I'll say another good performance from him, and if he's proven me the doubt was wrong. I played that left wing role, and I'm scoring a goal as well. And for me, for that, and my rating, I'll say 8 out of 10 as well, including the tactics that Cooper did, bringing Cole back in to play that role. Scarpa coming on for the last 15 minutes, just try to make it more better for us. But the defensive performance, like Henson, he could have slept on a post like that and sat there. He didn't get tested at all. But that's me. I think 8 out of 10. Before I do go, I'm just going through comments as well. From Justin, how you doing, Justin? 7 out of 10. Enjoyed Brennan's game. Learned lessons from the Chelsea game and it's crossed to Tyrell Rodney was the difference. Thank you for Justin. And thank you for being a member as well. Okay, well done, Molly. Can't forget Big Wale as well.
I've also seen those words in the same sentence with me for a long time. Ever.
Claire says nothing wrong with a square up. No, there is something wrong with a square up. We know Claire used to be a boxer and all that. She loves a tear up and that. But yeah, I don't know, Brennan. Alison and John, if you're watching this, please no fighting.
No, he needs. I think he's better when he's in half.
No, I know.
I like it.
Be aggressive with. Let him score the goals. Let him score the goals.
No,
when it comes to fighting,
need that. He needs a bit of spice. He needs a bit of. I love it. He's much better.
You know what? In all seriousness, when he went head to head with that guy, certain players would have just thrown himself on the floor, and that could have ended badly. As soon as you put your head in, you're putting yourself.
Well, you're buggered. Yeah.
You know what?
No, yes, he will learn a lesson from that because as soon as you touch heads, and he got a silly yellow card for that, didn't he? And it was kind of like the other guy was being a real. Yeah, they both got one, and the other guy deserved it way more.
Right, before we do it, I've got to mention, we mentioned 4 subs. We forgot 1 sub. And I mentioned Big Sam.
Sturridge?
No one's mentioned Sam Sturridge. Let me ask you, Glenn, like, I feel sorry for him. I know, he's not as much. He's not much at game time. He come on, and he made a little difference coming on the bench. But I'm comments as well. I know there's been rumours that it's Stoke, Sunderland and Burnley want him. But what's your opinion on him, Glenn? Like, do you think Foster should keep him?
I do. I don't think my opinion's changed at all since he was doing that finisher role after Keenan Davis went off last year and came on for the last 25, 30 minutes and ran those centre-halves ragged that Keenan had kicked up and down and ran around in circles and was the difference in that last 30 minutes. Okay, the Championship, okay, we're in a different situation. But I think from certainly what I saw last night, I don't think his value in the team and I don't think what he offers the team has changed at all. I think he can still do something, particularly that ball that he picked up inside our halfway and seemed to run for about 5 minutes with it, completely unchallenged. And then it was a tired cross, having run for best part of the full half. I think he can, with a few more people around, he can be damaging. I think he's one of the best finishers in the club still. And I think if it would be a real shame, obviously, I hope we don't sell if he does move on. I hope we do loan. I think he can still offer something to the team, unless obviously the only thing I can think about is the only way that he's being even put in the same sentence as other players who might be going out. We haven't talked about Dennis and others. Is that he's got obviously some plans to bring someone else in to replace him. I don't think they would even consider looking to move him out even temporarily or as a loan spell if there wasn't someone already, on the cards potentially to come in. And I think that basis will wait until that decision is made as to see whether someone else will come in. I think Sam Sturridge is still an excellent squad player. I think he can definitely offer something to us. Obviously, we would want someone that will be able to offer a little bit more than Sam in certain ways. But right now, as the squad stands, I think he could definitely do something, and he should stay. But, no players in the team. We should have that. If we've got someone else coming in, then all the best to him. He's offered. He's done amazing things for us this season and last.
Glenn, you mentioned, I asked you to LA before we do go, and you mentioned Dennis, and again, he's a player that who was it? The journo. I've got the journo now. Dennis seems like he's leaving Forest. Bad choice for Forest.
Percy.
Like
John Percy.
John
Percy. That next to him in French.
Did you?
Arnold Hill, same school, yeah.
Bloody hell. Glenn knows. Glenn gets people. Glenn gets about that, so that's all.
Glenn knows.
Glenn knows everyone. Glenn knows everyone. Let's we're talking about Dennis before we do go. Why did Forest buy him? Everyone knows he's a bad egg, but what's your opinion now?
I don't like to be negative because it's not nice.
Yeah.
But I think if we're being critically honest, I've said it before. He can do some great things or make a good run, but every time he has the ball, without fail, he holds on to it too long. And if he could just literally let go of the ball, pass the ball a couple of seconds earlier, that would change his performance so incredibly. It's such a simple, ridiculous thing to say, but when you watch him, it's like, why you've made the right pass, but 2 seconds too late. You should have done that earlier. And I think, I don't mean to say it harshly, but he's not going to get any game time with our current squad, hardly at all, unless there's a few injuries. So for his sake in his career, I'm sure there's a good player in now. I don't doubt that. Just pass it earlier, mate. Just literally.
You know what is right? Before we go, like I said, I don't know if anyone noticed this because all of us noticed at the ground. Everyone was training at half time, but him. I don't know if no one noticed. Did you not notice? Everyone was training. Everyone was training.
They didn't show it on
dodgy
on the
TV
radio.
you were watching.
On the radio.
Yeah. Everyone was training at half time, but Dennis.
So he can't go anywhere else.
But he doesn't like. I've heard he doesn't like training. Full stop. So yeah.
I think it's clear a player who's in that forward line is encouraged to make positive mistakes, is making too many mistakes in the wrong position, particularly at Man United. We either don't trust him. He's a rogue player. He's making his own decisions. He's taking 3 touches when 2 is enough, when 1 is better. He's just not. He's a square peg in a round hole. Yeah. And I think the sooner we move him out,
particularly for anyone else's team, can he?
He can't. He can play for
America or Saudi Arabia or something.
No, he can go back to Watford.
They don't want him, do they?
Yeah, they don't.
He won't go back there.
Or
by the sounds of it, he's burnt bridges there as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
But how much did we buy him for? Was it 15 million quid?
18 million. £80 million we bought him for.
According to John, some of the 10 that we've paid so far will be recouped from some of the offers that we've got. I don't know how likely that is, but I don't know how much we'll lose, if anything. In fact, Molo, you've been in schools, sometimes where the advantage of cutting your losses with certain people is better for the whole rather than just biting the bullet and severing ties is also
staying up's going to be worth another 150, 180, whatever million, isn't it, as well, for another year. So staying up's crucial.
Right, we'll get going, people. We've gone over the hour. When we do a good show, we always go over the hour. So thank you, like I said, because we know what, because we won. That's what I use that excuse, because we won away from home. Again. We won. And before we do that,
we won away.
We won away. But there's a Southampton fan here. Alex, do you think you'll beat Southampton in the Champions League season? Alex, right now, you're in the bottom 3 and we're not. So I just thought I'd tell you, get that out of the way.
We're finishing 13th, Alex.
Yeah. You know, Southampton might...
We finished 13th.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
It's coming your way, Sheriff.
Right, people, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Miss Michaela. Thank you, Ellie and Molo, for coming on as well. Ellie's got a YouTube channel as well. Ellie, you need to start doing some YouTube. People keep asking me, where is Ellie? I don't know.
Exam season is upon me.
She's
too busy drinking her Ribena.
Too much Ribena. Too much Ribena,
young lady.
It's been a great show, people. I'm back tomorrow doing a Blackpool preview with who, the legend.
No drinking in Blackpool, Dore.
I don't drink.
You'll get banned this time. You'll get banned. I've got pictures of you drinking, mate.
What do you mean? It wasn't me. It was Des. Des, hold on. If Des watching this, Des, it was you drinking, not me.
Disgrace.
You're an ambassador for our club. Last season.
Yes, Lee Charles. He's coming on.
Lee Charles on.
Yeah, Lee Charles is on.
He'll be buzzing, won't he? Because they've just announced that they've got Bowler back.
He phoned me straight away. I spoke to him today. Like, we got Jeff Bowler. I was like, take him.
I'll be like, yeah.
Could Bowler play? Is Bowler eligible? No. Okay.
No. So tomorrow. 9:30, I'll be on with Lee Charles tomorrow. We'll talk about the game tomorrow. So people, please do come and watch that as well. It's going to be fun. And I'll ask him about who's better, Brennan Johnson or Just Bowler. Get out of the way. So people, like I said, please do come and watch it as well. And like I said, if you can, do a massive favor before you do so. Please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And like I said, and people, it's been a great show. We won away at last. I feel great. I feel so great about this. But yeah, people, thank you for watching. We've got to. We've got 2 cup games. We've got Blackpool and Wolves, but that's a show we will talk about later on. Like maybe tomorrow after the Blackpool show. Right.
28th of Feb, Carabao Cup final.
Are you booked your hotel? No.
Yeah, I said before the season started we were getting to the Carabao Cup final. Of course, I booked the hotel.
Oh, here we go. Right, people, thank you. Like I said, Glenn, Michaela, Molly, and thank you very much. And like I said, people, thank you for watching this. See you tomorrow, 9:30. Peace and love. And again, up the forest.